To know and use the percentages that comprise a normal distribution. This is what a normal distribution looks like. Remember that what we just finished was we would find the average, which is here. This symbol here, it looks like a funny looking U. It's actually called mu, M-U, mu, and it means the average. And we found the standard deviation, and we would add it as we went this way to come up with the z numbers and subtract it from the mean as we went this way to find the negative z numbers. But in a normal distribution, if your data is completely normal, that means that 34.1% of your data falls between mu, which is the average, and the first standard deviation, between here and here. And then between 1 and 2 standard deviations, 13.6 falls in here. And between 2 and 3, you have 2.1, and then outside of 3, you have 0.1. It's the same thing on the left as it is on the right. 34.1 between the average and -1 standard deviations, and then 13.6 between -1 and -2, 2.1 between -2 and -3, and then 0.1 after -3. Question number 1. What percent of the data falls between -1 standard deviation and the positive second standard deviation? So don't forget your percentages. Well, first, the average, we'll use mu is here, and then you have 1, 2, and 3. This is -1, -2, and -3 standard deviations. And inside here you have 34.1, 34.1, 13.6. Now remember, the question was between -1 and +2. So you have to add up these percentages in here. If you add these up, that would be 68.2, and then add in that 13.6, you should come up with 81.8 between those numbers here and here. For this problem, find the percent of data that falls between this one and this one. Your percentages are 34.1 in the middle two, and then 13.6 in the ones outside of that. So remember, we added these up and had 68.2. Now if we add in 13.6 and 13.6, that's the same as 27.2. Add those up and get 95.4. 95.4. On this problem, find the percent of data that falls between here and here. We have 13.6 of our data that falls in here, and then in this spot it's how much? 2.1? Okay, so add those together and get 15.7. In this problem, find the percent of data that falls between here and here. Now back here on this one, we want everything between those two marks, so that includes all of these items in here. Here is a shortcut you can take. What is the amount that's outside of this mark here to the right? How much is that? So 0.1, and then over here it's 0.1 outside of that mark, so you can just go from 100 and subtract 0.2, which would be 99.8. On this problem, find the amount of data from here over to here. We need the amount of data from here to here, and just as we did a shortcut in the last one, if this is the halfway point for the whole thing, and this is 0.1 outside of this mark here, you can do 50 minus 0.1 to get 49.9. Or just add up this, this, and this. Alright. On this problem, find the amount of data that falls between this mark and this one. On this one, we have 34.1 in these two spots, and then 13.6 here. That's 68.2 plus 13.6, which is 81.8.